I warn you, if you strike me down, I will only become more profitable.
It's a little bit of a sobering thought, really, that every day we're getting a little bit saggier, a little bit older, a little bit wrinklier. And then one day out of the blue, it's gonna happen. Bam! You're gonna be way less interested in the pop charts. That and you'll be dead. Yeah, dead.
And how selfish is that? Getting old, dying, shame on us. Don't we know what an inconvenience that is? There are video creators who want to ride our image for money. We can't do that if we're dead. Or can we? As viewers to Rogue One, who saw a resurrected Peter Cushing, can attest, death is no longer the end to a lucrative film career.
In the old days, when something like mortality got in the way of your project, the solution was a lot more crude. When Shemp Howard, star of the classic series The Three Stooges, died of a heart attack in 1955, Columbia Pictures used a cringe-worthy mixture of stock footage of Shemp and a stand-in in order to complete the series.
Eventually, using stand-ins became known as the fake Shemp, as coined by Sam Raimi on the set of Evil Dead. He kept having to get extras and coating them in makeup for the monster scenes because his main actors didn't want to do it. Fake Shemps have been used on films as varied as Superman 2, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Back to the Future 2, Trail of the Pink Panther, and Plan 9 from Outer Space. In the years that followed, future technology meant that we no longer had to get some bloke in a wig. We could kick the Grim Reaper right in the daddy bags. We could get a composite of a face. As long as we had enough footage from a shoot, hopefully the same shoot, we could build a face on top of a stand-in.
Examples of this new kind of techno fake Shemp include Oliver Reed in Gladiator, Paul Walker in Furious 7, and Nancy Marchand on The Sopranos.
These digital zombies, for lack of a better term, they were a bit awkward, they were a bit janky, didn't look quite right, and didn't feel quite right. But it was understandable to use them. I mean, you had major Hollywood films here at stake. You know, films that had contracted these actors to complete their roles. And in most of these cases, they only had a few scenes left and they were just making sure that the final product was complete. However, that does not excuse the depths of tackiness that this electro-necromancy sunk to in the next few years. The one thing about the dead is, they can't say no. No, wait, I didn't mean...
You could now see a bucket-kicked Audrey Hepburn breakfasting on chocolate, a dust-bitten Freddie Mercury rocking cup noodles, a pale horse-riding John Wayne searching for his cores, and coil-shuffled Fred Astaire really excited about vacuum cleaners.
In fact, there is one celebrity beloved by Hong Kongers who has lived an undead lifestyle unlike anyone else. Bruce Lee. When Bruce Lee passed away of his cerebral edema, the film he was working on, the unfortunately titled Game of Death, had to be finished by fake Shemps. Then there was the entire spawning of a Bruceploitation genre, where lookalikes would, well, pretend to be Bruce Lee, including one film where there were 3 of them titled Clones of Bruce Lee. Then, what could only be called an ironic joke, Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, passed away on the set of The Crow due to an unfortunate gun misfire. His face was digitally recreated to finish the film. Now, in the 21st century, well, Brucey is selling whiskey. Well, he's not selling whiskey, but his weird, creepy, Uncanny Valley Polar Express lookalike is selling whiskey, which is strange because he didn't drink. So, why aren't we more freaked out by this? Because it's bloody disconcerting. Well, the answer's simple. Fantasy trumps reality. Always has, always will. Even your own memories aren't real. Scientists have said that there's a core event, yes, that's real, but when you look at it over and over again every time, you re-edit it. When someone reminds you of the event, they add new additions to it. You have got your own little movies inside your head that aren't real. They didn't happen like that. So, if that's inside our heads, can you imagine the outside world? We are shipped phones Samsung phones that are shipped with the setting to correct your face, the setting to fix your imperfections when taking a photo, set as a default, and not just at a low setting, at ×8. This happened, and no one cared, because we have learned to accept the fallacies of the visual medium around us. We have accepted to acknowledge, yeah, probably everything's fake. So we don't bat an eyelid when we see Elvis perform with Celine Dion, or Michael Jackson on stage at the Billboard Awards, or Tupac at Coachella. Back when they used to do that very same trick, the Pepper's Ghost trick, it used to fill people with wonder and amazement because they thought there was an actual ghost on stage. Now, we don't care because we are just so used to it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really concern me all that much. You know, the representation of the dead on film. You know, history will judge just how tasteful it was from case-to-case basis. No, that doesn't worry me. What worries me is the representation of the living on film, thanks to the same technology. For the last 10 years, we've been getting hoodwinked. What do I mean? Well, major studios are all putting their money into VFX rejuvenation. That means they're beautifying and de-aging all of their actors. Not in sci-fi films or action films, or films taking place over decades of time. We're just talking about ordinary comedies and dramas. They are making them more beautiful, more perfect, because anything less than that could lose them millions in box office revenue, they think. If you ever see the companies Lola, Method, or Hydraulics, you know that that film's been tampered with. This rejuvenation business has reached such heights that actors now joining the industry are required by many studios to scan their faces so that there is always a record of their younger self on file for posterity. Now, though this could be useful for films where you need to do a flashback to the younger days, like Captain America Civil War did with Robert Downey Jr., but really, this is all just helping the beauty work boutique business peddle their wares. But if everyone is fine with nothing being real and nothing being trusted, why does this bother me so much? Well, in the case of Grand Moff Tarkin, you are in on the trick. You know that Peter Cushing is dead, and that he must be being brought back on screen with some kind of CGI magic. However, in the case of these beauty boutiques, you are not in on the trick. The studios are spending hundreds of hours and millions of dollars to create these perfect versions of these celebrities. And the rub is, you will never be told who has got this treatment, because they keep the identities of who they tweak absolutely secret. You won't see it written down in any credits. That means they can give preferential treatment to who they want, make this person look prettier, maybe leave this person looking uglier. You have no way of trusting what you see on screen. And at that point, you really have to ask yourself,
what is reality?